All right, this is Thursday's lesson, and it will go on line 12, graphing relations. So on line 12 of your table of contents, please write graphing relations, and then we'll turn to page 12. And we'll put our title, Graphing Relations. So when you're working with relations, which are just basically graphs, you need to remember that there are two types. There are two types of graphs. The first type of graph is going to be what's called a continuous graph. And a continuous graph has connected dots. Basically, it's made up of lines. A continuous graph is made up of connected dots, so it's a line graph. Not necessarily a straight line, but everything is connected by dots. The second type of graph is called discrete. And a discrete graph is only distinct points. So basically it's just a dot graph, like a scatter plot would be a type of discrete graph. So the two types of graphs that we're working with today are continuous and discrete. So let's get into the graphing. And we're going to write the problems out so that you have examples of them. So when we're graphing relations, the first type would be the following. Simon is selling candles. For each candle he sells, he makes $2. He sells 4 candles. Graph the profit. So again, Simon is selling candles. For each candle he sells, he makes $2. He sells 4 candles. Graph the profit. I'm just going to draw a really simple graph. Candles and profit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at the first candle he sells, he makes $2. And the second candle he sells, he makes $4 profit. And the third candle is $6 profit. And the fourth candle is $8 profit. This is going to be a discrete graph. And the reason this is going to be a discrete graph is because we're not going to connect them. If I connected these dots, that would mean that he could sell 1.5 candles. And nobody's going to buy half of a candle. So these are distinct points. His only options are 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, or 4 candles. This would be a discrete graph. The second type of graph would be for a situation like this. Julie increases her speed from 5 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour. She then slows to 10 miles per hour. So this graph, this is going to be time on the bottom, and this side will be miles per hour. And if I counted by 5, 10, 15. Julie increases her speed from 5 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour. So from 5, she's going to go up to 15. And it's probably a gradual increase, right? It's not going to go straight up because that would be too fast. So she gradually goes up to 15. And then she goes back down to 10. And then she stays there. This is a continuous graph. Because as Julie's increasing her speed from 5 miles to 15, she's going through the other speeds. She can't just automatically go from 5 straight up to 15. She's got to go through the rest to get there. And when Julie slows down from 15 to 10, she's slowly going down to 10. And then she stays there over time. This is a continuous graph because she hits all of those data points in between as she goes. So when you're graphing data, you need to be able to decide if it's discrete or continuous. You also need to be able to write a story. So writing a relation has kind of the same process. When we're writing a relation, we have 3 steps. The first step is to divide the graph into sections. And those sections are going to be where it goes up, where it goes down, or where it's flat. So you divide your graph. You take your graph and you divide it. And this is already divided for us because each point is distinct. The second thing we do is we match each section to words. And we want our words to be better than up, down, flat. We want descriptive words. So if the graph is going up, some words you could use are increasing, rise. If it's talking about speed, you could say it speeds up. Or if it's talking about weight, you could say it gained. If the graph goes down, words that would describe that would be the opposite of up. So decrease, or decreasing, falls, slows down, loss, drop. And if a graph is flat, you could say it remains, it stays, it's constant. You could even say it rests, pause, or still. There's a whole gambit of words. These aren't the only ones that you could use to describe it. But if I made a graph make that a little bit less straight up and down vertical. If this was my graph, I could divide it into parts. So part 1 would be constant. Part 2 would be increasing. Part 3 would be drops. And this is dropping suddenly, right? Because it's a sharp decline. We could say step 4, it stays the same. And we could move to 5, where it quickly stops because it ends. It comes to an end at the graph. If it stopped right here and then stayed flat, right, it would not end. But since it stops at the x-axis, we'd say that this quickly stops. So for your homework, you're going to practice graphing. So you're going to be able to have to say, is this a discrete graph or is this a continuous graph? So you're looking at the data and making the decision, is it something that's distinct or is it something that's continuous, right? Discrete, continuous. Then the other part you're going to have to do is you're going to have to look at a graph, and write the relation. So you're going to have to divide the graph into sections, up, down, and flat, and match each section to words, giving it a story behind it.